Two things. Two things. Ralph, I need more explanation as to why you're trying to pimp your family. I said it. Pimp your family. And the second thing, Marlo, your mouth was reckless, but you wasn't ready. When your mouth is reckless, you must be ready. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 14, episode 13. Yeah, I made two statements that's kind of stick it to you, but that's how they came across. It was stick it to you. Yes, Ralph is pimping his family, and I'm going to talk about it. He's pimping his family, and it ain't cute. It really ain't cute. I don't even expect nothing from Drew. I'm just going to go on and call it out and move along, because I don't expect nothing much from her. But yeah, that ain't no good look. And then Marlo, you was way off the rails to this time, and just you wasn't ready for what actually came down on you after your mouth was reckless. So we're going to talk about that too. Let's start right here with Marlo and her assistant. Here's the first thing. Now, she said the boys is actually coming back home. So that was, that's a good thing. I think she's happy, and I think the boys will be happy. But here's where the problem came. Then we say, whatever decisions you make in your parenting, you're going, and I've said this time after time after time, you're going to be in the court of public opinion. Boom. Listen, I deal with it every day. Every day. When I click this camera on, I'm right now, I'm in the court of public opinion. So I deal with it every day, just like Marlo deals with it every day. But what I said, when it comes to those children, it doesn't matter what the public is saying. What matters is that you know what's going on and the boys know what's going on, and that in the midst of whatever decisions that you make, that the boys never feel thrown away. It doesn't matter how any adult sees it or someone who's on the outside looking. It doesn't matter how we see it. It doesn't matter how we feel about it. It don't matter. What we say don't mean a shit. It's about the boys. How do the boys feel? That's where the problem came in. You had a conversation. It was just a split second. A split second where this is recorded, and this is forever. It will never go away. It'll never go away. And Bravo will always rerun it and make their money off of it. And it'll always be on the internet if somebody decides to pull it up on the internet. It was recorded. The statement will never, ever go away. You and your two assistants were actually speaking, and y'all were speaking in a light as if the boys were a hindrance. And that's how it came across. That is where the problem comes in. Nobody's saying that you don't, because I don't have no judgment on what it is you decided. I really don't. My only issue is when it's put in a way that the boys feel thrown away. There's no way to even get around it. That conversation that y'all had, that split second conversation about your sister, talking about your sister is ready for them to go. I know she is. Oh, I know she. There was no way to even to finesse that conversation. There's no other way to try to explain that conversation. That conversation made the boys seem as though they are a hindrance wherever they go. You sent them over there, and now you're saying like she ready for them to go. Ain't no way to even color that up. Ain't no way to color it up. And then it's forever recorded on Bravo. So it's just there. So now that's a problem. That is a problem. That's a problem. I don't even know what you're going to do with that, because now it exists. Now that is burned forever on television. That I didn't like. I didn't like that at all. Didn't like that at all. And It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look. I've actually seen a situation on the internet involving a foster child being spoke of in that light, and it did not end well. It did not end well. I'm just going to leave that there because that's tea all in itself. But I'm going to just leave that there. You got to be careful of what it is you're saying because, again, doesn't matter what anybody else is saying. Doesn't matter what anybody else is feeling. The boys matter and how they feel and how the statements that are being said comes down on them and how they process it. I don't see how they could process that statement any other way other than, oh, damn, I'm a hindrance wherever I'm landing. That was horrible. I ain't like that at all. That was just... shame on all three of y'all. Kiki, no, not at all. Night-night. Moving on. Kenya and Drew on the phone, child, just running it down. They letting Sanya have it. I said she had dollar store balloons, and of course, you know, shady Bravo Andy is flashing the pictures, bean footage, beautiful bean footage. Dollar store balloons, said the food tastes like ashy feet. I said, what? Oh my God. Now, girl, what do ashy feet taste like? It don't matter. I don't care to indulge in any. I don't care to indulge in any. I said, y'all so ignorant. Y'all are so ignorant. And then Kenya says her cousin pulled out at the last minute. She's not feeling well, so she's not going to come. So she's coming solo. I said, oh, God. They said they're going to try Kenya. This could go one way or the other. They can really try her, or I doubt that they're going to just ignore her. Somebody's going to start some stuff, and Kenya's going to let them have it. Anyway, moving on. Sanya and Ross were there working out with her brother-in-law, and then they had the kids were running around. And I said, now that's actually pretty cool. You know, their living arrangement. When I kind of looked at it for a split second, you know, her little boy, Deuce. Deuce is an only child. But he has two other little boys who are his cousins that are actually there with him. So the living arrangement, I think, for Deuce is probably really cool. That he's not by himself at this age. His kids like other kids. When they're that age, you know, it's when they get to be teenagers and stuff, that other stuff be going on. But generally, at these ages that they are, that right before they go to school or right when they're starting school, they like other kids. So this living arrangement probably is really good for Deuce and the other boys. It's like having three brothers in the house. So that's one really good thing, that they're, you know, that they can actually do that and stomach being all there together. That I'm sure it probably works for the boys. And they seem to, like, that little split second you see them, they were playing and just having a great time. Having a great time. So I kind of looked at that from a different lens, because, you know, I just don't think adults sharing a house like that is just kind of... Adults need their own houses. They do. They need their own houses. You need your own space. Yeah, you need your own space. You could love somebody to death, but grown-ups need their own space. That's all. Ain't no thing. Ain't no shade. Just grown-ups need their own space. Anyway, moving on. Sanya, for some reason, thinks that there's going to be friendships that are going to be mended in Jamaica. Baby, do you know how many places that we've been over the last 14 seasons and friendships don't be getting mended, child? Y'all to go through a lot of Band-Aids. That's all. That's all, baby. Just a bunch of Band-Aids. That's all. So it's okay. Just hold on, Lucy. Hold on, honey. Anyway, moving on. Drew and Ralph. Here, now let's talk. Let's talk shop, shall we? We got Drew there. First of all, Ralph, y'all just had a whole scene where Ralph just absolutely clowned you. Clowned you. Clowned you. Talk about your wigs. Talk about your wig lifting. Y'all going back and forth about the heat coming on. He gonna clown you about the fact that when the heat is up too high, your wigs be lifting. So what you got, old sweaty head that is? I said, he is so shady. He is so shady. As if we don't clown you enough. He in the house clowning you. Just a mess. All of that's fine. they're speaking again about this whole situation about him adopting her son. He basically shut her down while she was like talking. He didn't let her get all into it. He shut her down, and then said, my publisher's coming. That's more important. The publisher's coming. So here comes Audrey. So he introduces her to Audrey and all of this. And then this is where I really seen the problems with them. And this is something that makes it very hard for them, you know, to watch them. He's telling her basically, you got to trust me about what's in the book. She's not been presented with the book. She's not been allowed to read anything about the book or the stuff leading up to what's going in the book. He hasn't discussed it with her. But then he's going to try to appease her by telling her he wants her to write the foreword for the book. How can she write the foreword? She don't know what's in the book. So I'm agreeing with her there. And Audrey, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing as a woman? What are you doing? You just try to make money. Because I know you got to understand what she's saying. Y'all got her looking crazy. Crazy. And then y'all going to throw her a breadcrumb. A breadcrumb. One breadcrumb and expect her to go make a whole meatloaf. Really? Really? And I'm looking at Drew like, I don't even expect much from you, but at least you are standing up for yourself a little bit. Then Audrey come and dig in. Audrey, you ain't no better. We might as well have the woman that she was thinking that he was going to screw. She wasn't as offensive as what you talking about. When Audrey started talking about he should be on the cover, but she thinks that the whole family needs to be on the back. So to sell the book for the cover, you want to put Josiah, Drew, and him all on the back. Drew don't know whether she's being spoken of badly in the book. She doesn't know. Remember, now we laugh, we key, but let's just really, like I said, let's talk shop. Drew got a brand. Drew Zadora is a brand. Okay? She's on reality. She's on one of the biggest reality television series that there is. You want her to sign off on something, splatter a picture of herself and her child on a book that's contrary to what's going on in their house altogether. You're writing a book about being a step parent, but are you really a step parent? Well, I guess you are. You are a step parent, but you're not an adoptive parent. You married her, but you didn't adopt the boy. Y'all didn't discuss it in that way. You said you were going to adopt him, and then you didn't. Now, later on, when they get to Jamaica, they talked about the fact that, and this is the first time I've heard this, that the father wasn't really on board about him adopting him. So now I would be able to understand that if you said, you know what, out of respect for him, he doesn't want me to adopt his son from him, then and I decided not to. But that ain't what you're saying. That ain't what you're saying. It sounds to me, and let me just get very serious what you hear. It sounds to me like he don't really intend to stay with you, Drew. He don't intend to stay with you. It's not to the dirt for him. This is what I'm getting. This is James saying this. This is how I feel. I don't feel like he feels like you're his forever. And if he adopts Josiah, then Josiah is his forever. He adopts Josiah, he's going to have to pay you child support for his and Josiah. If he don't adopt Josiah, Josiah's on you, and you'll be able to get child support for the one that you have with him. I feel like the whole not adopting Josiah is a cop-out. He is protecting his money and his interest because he don't intend to be with you forever. That's what I get. That's how it comes across. That's how I feel about it. Now, y'all go down there in the comments. Y'all let me know, James, too much. Team, too much. But that's what I'm seeing. When you adopt a person, they're yours. Whatever decisions gets made from that point of view, adopting them, they're yours. They're yours, and they'll be seen as yours. Whatever goes on, if you don't live in a home with them, you will be sued for child support. And I think that Mr. Ralph knows that, and Mr. Ralph is protecting his best interest. That's how I feel. I don't feel like he doesn't love Josiah or any of that stuff, but I feel like he's a punk and he's going back on his word because he is protecting himself. And it's really, it's terrible. The terrible part is that you should have never said that you were going to adopt Josiah. You should have never got that started. And then writing this book, that you look crazy writing a book about being a step parent when you're not all in. You're not 10 toes into what you're doing. Now, if your book is going to be, now that would be cool if your book actually says, listen, I am not going to adopt because I'm protecting my financial going forward because I don't think my marriage is going to work out. If you're going to be honest like that and put that in the book, boom, I'm here with you. But if that book is all about being the best stepfather in the world, no. And this whole thing of her, there's something in there you don't want her to see. Or something you think she may not agree with. And that's why you're trying to bamboozle her and trying to brush over her like you always do. But see, that's her problem. Because she's created a situation where you don't respect her. And no, you would not pimp me and my son for book sales. No, you would not, pal. You want to slap Josiah on that book, but you're not Josiah's adopted parent. So something happened to you, Josiah ain't getting no royalties. But his picture's slathered all onto the book, and you talking about him in the book. Out of order. Out of order. Drew, stand up. Stop this damn clowning and do what you need to do. And I ain't saying force him to adopt your child. At this point, I wouldn't even want him to adopt my child. And that book, me or my child wouldn't be slathered on that book. You wouldn't be pimping me and my boy for no goddamn book sales. This is how I feel. This is what I'm saying. And it ain't even about allegedly or that. This is my vision of what I'm hearing coming out of his mouth of how he may go. I don't like it. It don't look good. Ralph don't look good. And the more we go along, the less I like Ralph. I think Ralph is shifty. And I think Ralph is always Ralph's best interest is Ralph. It's about Ralph. Period. And the more we go on watching him, sometimes I think he don't even like Drew. I get the same vibes from Ralph that I get from Mark, and we know for a fact Mark do not like Kenya. He don't care for Kenya at all. He loves Brooklyn, but he don't like her mama. Period. I had enough. I'm moving on. I had enough. Child, just, ugh. I'm moving on. Okay. Kandi and them comment, and Kandi and Marlo's out of constant. Okay, Kandi throwing shade in the doggone confessional, talking about Marlo ain't bringing no real date. She bring the flowers, and that was kind of shady. How she said, "He's my flowers," and who better to bring? I could wake up to flowers in my room and this, that, and using you bringing him to using basically, because unless you paying, are you paying? Is he working? Is it a working vacation for him, or is he playing your arm candy? He playing pretty? You playing pretty, little boy, over there with Marlo? That's what you're doing. Anyway, but Kandi threw some shade, said, baby, she don't want us to see her sponsors, honey. That's why she'll never bring no dates. I said, this is true. This is true. That was a good one. But that was in the confessionals. Now, Todd actually has shared that he's not drinking. And then he talked about it a little bit, how he just kind of felt like he was drinking too much. He didn't say he had any time. And then, you know, people will flip it and try to say he's an alcoholic. He didn't say any of that. He said that he just felt like his intake was just getting to be a little too much. And he needs it, you know, he's getting up there. And he just want to, you know, clear, detox himself a little bit. So that was good. And he's sticking to it. So kudos to you, Todd, you know. Maybe it was going to become a problem, and you know he's seen it and he's stopping it. So that's good. That's good stuff right there. When they first get to Jamaica, baby, Miss Kenya right away pulls her a date. Boom. Because I mean, what's wrong with Kenya? And he was cute, very cute. Said, we see you really do have an actual type, Kenya. But he's a cute. John was cute. Now, where I'm gonna read you, Kenya, and this is a little different because you're with a whole crew and a cast and all of this. But it was way too early for, you don't know this man. Why did he have to pick you up at your suite? That was totally wrong message we put. Now, ladies, don't do this. Don't do this. If you invite him to dinner, that's fine. And that was cool, you know, to invite him to dinner with all the friends was like perfect. But he needed to meet you there, baby. He needed to meet you there. He didn't need to be in your suite. Ain't no way you need to be in a suite with a man from England and you from the United States, and in your room together. Now, we're going to act like the fourth wall ain't there. Like, you know, ain't nobody filming. But what you're putting into the atmosphere is like he came to your suite. And it's just you and him. You don't know him. So that was a bad look. That was a bad look. Because some people ain't. We smart. We understand there's a cast and a crew there. But there's somebody watching that ain't all there. That's like, oh, yeah, it's okay. Like, he came up to her room. No. That ain't no good look. He should have just met you there at the dinner, period. Now, let's go to the dinner. John was a totally good sport, okay? Kenya told him, my friends is going to be, they're going to bombard you with questions. And they did. And some of the questions were just so out of order. What type of underwear do you wear? And man said, I don't be wearing no underwear, child. I just be letting it go. So, I mean, he just really, he was a good sport with all of that stuff. Cute little guy. I asked him how old he was. And I kind of was like, he kind of made me say, when I asked him how old he was, he would say, how old do I look? You ain't no woman. Just say how old you are. You 37. Okay, you fishing for compliments. So that kind of turned me. I was like, I don't need no man fishing for compliments. But, I mean, he don't look 37. He really do look good for 37. You cute. You cute, but you was fishing for compliments, which was a turn off. Anyway, listen. So it wasn't very long before. Oh, and Monyetta brought her husband. Monyetta and her husband look so good together. They really do. They're a really cute couple. They look really good together. Marlo, right out the gate, is starting up. She started attacking Ralph. Ralph, what she basically did was what Marlo does. Wherever they go, Marlo got her peach. Marlo knows you have to stay relevant. But sometimes Marlo teamed too much, or most times, teamed too much. You stole Ralph's thunder, is what you did. Ralph was using this time, this was his on-screen time to be able to promote his book. This was his promotion moment. And Marlo literally yanked it. She jumped in and she yanked it. But she literally was attacking Ralph. It didn't come across nice. Sorry, y'all. It didn't come across nice. And I'm not editing that out. You know how we do. You know, edits. We just talking. I'm tongue-tied. It didn't come across nice. Okay? It didn't come across nice. She was attacking him. And she was like really going there and she was going real deep. I'm like, wait a minute. We're at the table with people that don't even know us. There's a table behind them that kind of had bottom up a bottle and everything like that. And you know they loud. And you blurting out all this stuff. It just was kind of rough. And then a couple of people were jumping in like, well, whoa, Marlo, whoa. And then the next thing you know, Kandi and Marlo is going at it, and Candy's like, wait, Marlo, wait. No, that's a lot. Wait. And Marlo, why she do that, Kandi? You already know you and Marlo, child. And Marlo went there. This is when it got kind of like, ooh. Because Marlo was all done. Oh, this is personal to me because I was a foster child. And this, that, thing, and the other, and on and on and on. I was like, Marlo, you're doing too much right now. Like you was doing too much. Because they didn't open the door for that conversation at that time. They didn't. So they didn't deserve that. But she was doing too much. But then, baby, she turned around there and told Kandi, you don't need to be saying nothing when you allow you can't even keep it together with your husband. You let your mother demean your husband. I said, oh, damn. As soon as you opened that door, I knew it was going to get ugly. Marlo, you knew you was reckless. You didn't have to throw Mama Joyce in there. And when you threw Mama Joyce in there, you wanted to get a rise out of Kandi, but you didn't get the rise that you usually get out of Kandi. See, you thought you could get Candy's voice to quiver and maybe get a little tear out of her, but Kandi didn't cry, did she? Kandi ripped your ass up. And then you went even further. You was firing stuff, and you was disrespecting the hell out of Todd. Saying that Todd's taking care of Kandi and that Mama Joyce don't care nothing about Kandi and he ain't shit, basically, is what you were saying. And Todd stayed quiet for quite a while. But when Kandi fired, you threw Mama Joyce in there like it was okay to do. But then when Kandi fired back at you with the boys and that you threw the boys out, you jumped right down and started playing victim. Excuse me, you said worse to Ralph. You talked about Ralph in this situation with his kid and his wife and their kid. But now you playing victim. Kids are off limits. Well, when did that start? After you finished talking about Ralph and Drew? Or after you knew that you had to piss Kandi off? You even talked about her nephew. The nephews and this, that, thing, and the other. And then now y'all got a thing going back and forth and it wasn't looking good for you. Kandi was tagging your ass. She was tagging you, and she got you where it hurted. You don't like the fact of her saying that you threw the boys away, and then she's saying, yeah, I raised my nephews, but I never threw them out. She was tagging the hell out of you, and I was like, this is crazy. It was getting ugly, and then you kept firing at Todd. And I'm like, see, your mouth is getting away from you. And then the unthinkable happened. Baby, Todd heard enough, and then Todd started dragging you, and then it just ended up being a position where, Marlo, you started looking crazy because Todd and Kandi dragged the hell out of goddamn Marlo. They literally tag teamed her and dragged her, and I can't even say nothing because, Marlo, you deserved it. You literally sat at that table and told Kandi that Todd was talking stuff on her before they got together. And I don't believe it's true. Do any of you all believe that that was true? That Todd said that she wasn't nothing, she's old country bumpkin and this, that, and the other. Does anybody believe that that's true? I don't believe it's true. The timing don't fit. We have been heard about that, and you wouldn't have just came out with this. So I think you was just trying to get back up off the floor where they was dragging you, and they were dragging you. They were dragging you. When he told you, girl, when that Todd hit you, doot, doot, doot. Remember, I know how you came into this group. Remember, I was working behind the scenes. I said, uh-oh. You bought your way in. I said, oh, shit. Dragged you. I said, oh, Jesus. They dragged her. She dragged her. I was like, Todd and Kandi. Okay, y'all, I guess. That got way too deep. That little situation. And that's what the table was giving. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I said, oh, my God. But, Marlo, you did start it. You did start it. You went underneath, and they just met you down there, honey, and that was it. They tore your ass up. And then turn around, honey, and look. I said, well, where's John, honey? Y'all done messed around and made Kenya lose her day. That man ain't said goodbye. That man ain't said nothing. That man said, oh, you goddamn fools is crazy. That man hit it. He was like, no God. Guess he said, I ain't cut out for this, baby. I'm out of here. He got right on up, baby, and hit it. I said, damn. They're arguing that messed up Kenya's date. I said, okay. A mess. But this is where we were. This is how this... Y'all tell me what y'all think. I felt like Marlo started it. I think she literally wanted to create a moment. She created a moment, and she victimized folks in order to make the moment. She started off with Ralph, and she rounded it up with Todd. Now, you know, we usually say the guys need to stay out of it, but she did come for both of them. And Ralph didn't give her what she was looking for. Well, Ralph gave her what she was looking for because Ralph just let it go. But Todd was not on that shit. Todd was like, hold up. And he gave her a couple haymakers in the midst of her trying to clown him. And she did. She was clowning him. Calling him broke. Anybody broke? He said, anybody thirsty? Todd was with the shits. I said, okay, okay. It was the best. Whatever, y'all. And I'm sure this you know, how we see this back and forth is going to be interesting. So I'm more than looking forward to seeing what's in these comments. Y'all tell me what y'all think about how this situation at the table went, and I will see y'all down in the comments. And as far as the rest of this stuff, I'll catch y'all on the next episode, okay? But I'll be in the comments to see what y'all got to say. I feel like Marlo started and she wasn't ready, and she got boop, 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 boop. But I think Candy and Todd dragged her, and I think she deserved it. Anyway, y'all tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Later.